Exceedingly beautiful, often spotted in her bikini on California beaches, or adorned in revealing lingerie, Bettie Page embodied a playful spirit that captivated many. She represented the quintessential homecoming sweetheart and seductive siren, leaving an indelible mark on American culture. With her infectious persona, she became a significant figure in the realm of pin-up art, earning the title of the erotic bombshell of the 1950s. Just as her fans were enamored with her charm, she abruptly vanished from the public eye, retreating into seclusion. When she eventually re-emerged, the narrative surrounding her was filled with shocking tales of trauma, scandals, and violence. This drastic shift from a celebrated icon to a figure shrouded in mystery raises questions about the experiences that led her to flee Hollywood. The contrast between her glamorous image and the dark realities she faced invites a deeper exploration into the factors that may have driven her away from the spotlight. They called her Notorious Bettie Page. She was not the usual kind of Hollywood beauty, yet her fame was more pronounced than one could imagine. It is possible you haven't heard the name Bettie Page, but you have likely seen one of her seductive photos. If you have ever encountered an audacious display of torsos with countless legs, a petite waist, and an attractive bust line capped with a pair of laughing blue eyes and opulent brunette locks, the chances are high that you have seen Bettie Page on display. Her images captured the imagination of many, blending innocence with a daring allure that was both captivating and controversial. Bettie Page became a symbol of the pin-up era, embodying a unique blend of glamour and rebellion. Her photographs often showcased her in playful yet provocative poses, making her an icon of the 1950s. Despite the passage of time, her influence remained strong, as her style and persona continue to inspire artists and fashion enthusiasts alike. Bettie Page's legacy is one of boldness and charm, leaving an indelible mark on popular culture. During the 1950s, Bettie Page emerged as a cultural icon, captivating millions of American men and women with her striking looks and bold persona. Her signature style, characterized by playful yet risque poses, set her apart in an era dominated by blonde bombshells. Bettie Page became one of the most famous pin-up girls of her time, breaking societal norms surrounding sensuality. Pin-up models like her challenged the boundaries of what was acceptable, transforming images of attractive men and women into decorative art, often referred to as beefcakes and cheesecakes. Among the classic pin-ups, Bettie Page stood out for her unique approach to showcasing a daring side, making her the most photographed model of the 20th century. Her influence extended beyond mere images. She became a symbol of post-war femininity and empowerment, leaving an indelible mark on popular culture that continues to resonate today. In 1957, Bettie Page, a model known for her iconic pin-up images, suddenly stepped away from the public eye, leaving many to wonder about the reasons behind her retreat. This decision marked the beginning of a complex chapter in her life, filled with challenges and controversies. Despite her fame, Bettie's private life was far from perfect. She faced a series of life-threatening scandals that would haunt her in the years to come. Once an office secretary who transformed into a symbol of the sexual revolution, she inspired countless individuals with her boldness and confidence. However, the glamorous image she projected was often overshadowed by less flattering incidents that occurred behind the scenes. As time passed, Bettie Page became a legendary figure, adored for her contributions to popular culture, yet her personal struggles remained largely hidden from the public. Her legacy continues to resonate, reminding us of the complexities of fame and the often tumultuous lives of those who achieve it. In 1972, a violent incident involving Bettie Page shocked many. While I was still in an undergraduate journalism class, I first learned that she had threatened her husband and his children with a knife. The situation escalated when she reportedly sprinted through a religious congregation, gun in hand. At the time, I did not fully grasp the significance of these events, as my interest in her story was minimal. However, years later, as her iconic narrative resurfaced on the internet, I began to understand the complexities of her life. Many people believe that Bettie Page's rise to fame was effortless, thanks to her risque images that captivated audiences and made her a superstar. She became a beloved figure among men and women alike, admired for her boldness and beauty. Yet, beneath this glamorous exterior lay a tragic fall in her career, marked by personal struggles and societal challenges. Her life story is a poignant reminder of the dualities of fame and the often hidden battles faced by those in the spotlight. Bettie Page's free-thinking sexuality and unwavering body posture continue to resonate in the minds of many, even decades after her images first captivated audiences. Her iconic status as a model is undeniable, as she became one of the most sought-after figures in girly magazines, setting a standard for sexual publications like Playboy. Bettie Page emerged as a symbol of empowerment and liberation during a time when societal norms were more restrictive. Her boldness and confidence challenged conventional views of femininity and sexuality, making her a poster child for a counterattack against the titillation aimed at young American males. The allure of her images has not faded. Instead, they have fascinated later generations of fans who admire her unique blend of innocence and seduction. Many may not know how this remarkable woman began her adventurous life and career, but her legacy as a trailblazer in the world of modeling and sexuality remains influential. Born in Nashville, Tennessee in 1923, as Bettie Mae Page, this little girl spelled her first name Betty B-E-T-T-I-E as early as she could write. Growing up, her parents, Walter Page and Edna Pirtle, faced financial struggles, leading to constant travels in search of better opportunities. Young Betty had to learn to take care of herself and her younger siblings, a responsibility that intensified after her father was imprisoned for car theft and spent 2 years in confinement. By the time she was 10, her parents had divorced, and her mother took on many odd jobs to provide for the family. However, the burden proved too much for Edna, who eventually made the difficult decision to send 10-year-old Betty and her 2 sisters to an orphanage home. This early life shaped Betty's character and resilience, laying the groundwork for her future endeavors. During her teenage years, Bettie Page was already focused on a future in entertainment. Although she acquired skills in hairdressing and makeup, her true passion lay in the world of show business. She began to emulate her favorite movie stars by experimenting with her makeup, carefully patterning it after the glamorous looks of the celebrities she admired. At the same time, she took up sewing, which would prove to be a valuable skill later in her career. This combination of talents allowed her to design her own bikinis and costumes for her pinup photo shoots, showcasing her creativity and resourcefulness. Bettie was not only artistic, but also academically gifted. While attending Hume Fogg High School, she excelled in her studies and was an active member of the school debate team. Her hard work and dedication paid off when she graduated as the salutatorian of her class, earning a scholarship that would help her pursue further education. This blend of artistic ambition and academic achievement set the stage for her future success in the entertainment industry, where she would become an iconic figure known for her unique style and captivating presence. Bettie found herself at George Peabody College, where she initially aimed to become a teacher. However, her aspirations shifted when she began taking acting lessons, setting her sights on a career in film. To support her financial needs, she took a secretarial job with author Alfred Leland Crabbe while pursuing her Bachelor of Arts degree, which she completed in 1944. During this time, Bettie balanced her typing duties with intermittent modeling work. It was also during this period that she reconnected with her high school sweetheart, William Neal, whom she married in 1943. Despite her ambitions, her earliest screen test did not go well, and she faced challenges in breaking into the film industry. Nevertheless, her determination and unique charm would later pave the way for her iconic status in popular culture. After failing a screen test in Los Angeles, Bettie Page reflected on her marriage and the sacrifices she made for it. She realized that embracing her body could be the key to unlocking her dreams. While she was open to the idea of using her charm to advance her career, she was clear that she would not engage with just anyone. Following the end of her marriage to Neal, Bettie moved to New York City, where her life took a significant turn. It was there that she met Jerry Tibbs, a pivotal figure in her rise to fame. When Tibbs first spotted Bettie on Jones Beach in Long Island, he recognized her potential immediately. He invited her to pose for a snapshot for his nude camera club, a decision that would change her life forever. This opportunity propelled her from being an amateur model to becoming a nationwide pinup star almost overnight. Bettie's unique look and confident persona resonated with the public, solidifying her status as an icon in the modeling world. In no time, Bettie Page's image flooded international magazines, capturing the attention of many. It was her 1955 Playboy Center spread that took her modeling career to its climax. This iconic shoot attracted the eye of Irving Klaw, a pinup paparazzo known for his captivating photos featuring models tied up in rope and leather. Klaw photographed Bettie Page in this distinctive style, distributing thousands of 4x5-inch prints nationwide. This exposure skyrocketed her pinup image extraordinarily, making her a household name. Bettie once remarked, I could make more money posing in 2 hours than I will in a week as a secretary, highlighting the financial success she found in modeling. Her unique look and bold persona resonated with the public, solidifying her status as a cultural icon. The combination of her striking features and the provocative nature of her work contributed to her lasting legacy in the world of fashion and entertainment. Reports say between 1949 and 1957 about 20,000 mail-order photos of her in bondage attires were shot and distributed, which attracted the attention of an overzealous U.S. Senator, Estes Kefauver, who launched an investigation on the impact of the nude images on youths. The images, regardless of the inherent excitement and erotic atmosphere they created, caused an alarming controversy. Conservative personalities like Senator Kefauver described Bettie Page's image and her photographs as a bad influence on society and highly degrading to humanity. The investigation focused on the potential effects of such imagery on young people, raising questions about morality and decency in media. Bettie Page became a symbol of the clash between artistic expression and societal norms. Her photographs, while celebrated by some for their boldness and creativity, were condemned by others who believed they contributed to the moral decline of society. This tension between admiration and criticism defined her legacy and sparked ongoing debates about censorship and the role of erotic art in culture. The Kefauver Subcommittee on Juvenile Delinquency faced a significant challenge as it sought to understand the impact of Claw's activities on society. Alarmingly, the committee uncovered a case involving a man named Clarence Grimm, who claimed that his son's tragic death was influenced by Bettie Page. This revelation linked Bettie, a prominent figure in the entertainment world, to a deeply distressing incident. As the investigation unfolded, Claus and his collaborator Eric Stanton were summoned, putting Bettie in a precarious position. The thought of testifying against those who had contributed to her rise to fame filled her with horror. The weight of being associated with a teenage death was overwhelming for her. Despite being out of legal danger, Bettie was consumed by worry. The implications of the investigation and the potential fallout from the allegations weighed heavily on her mind, leaving her to grapple with the unintended consequences of her public persona. Two of Kefauver's agents approached Bettie Page, seeking information that could implicate Claw in illegal activities. They wanted her to testify that Claw was selling explicit and sexually explicit materials. Bettie firmly protested, stating that Irving Claw never engaged in such actions. She expressed that if she were forced to testify, she would stand by Claw, as he had only been involved in modeling cheesecake, which is not against the law. Despite her innocence in the matter, Bettie was visibly traumatized by the situation. Those who witnessed her during this time noted her distress, even though she had no legitimate reason to fear for her career or reputation. In contrast, Claw had real legal concerns, while Bettie was simply caught in a web of pressure and fear. The anxiety surrounding the possibility of being dragged into a scandal weighed heavily on her, making her feel as if her freedom was at stake. This fear for her career and reputation loomed large, affecting her deeply. The next part was really sad. Grimm testified that his son Kenneth had died in a terrible way, hanging by his knees and neck. The committee concluded that Kenneth's death was likely caused by Claude's pictures of Bettie Page. The implication of this was that Claude's photography business was destroyed. With the extraordinary scandal, anger, and fear generated, Bettie Page had no choice but to scamper to safety. It seems Bettie, who was in her mid-30s at the time, made a wise decision to vacate the modeling scene for a better deal for her life. She left town, and observers say that she vanished from New York City for good, leaving her fans high and dry. The impact of the scandal not only affected Bettie's career, but also left a lasting mark on the world of photography and modeling during that era. The combination of tragedy and controversy surrounding Kenneth's death and Bettie's subsequent retreat from the public eye created a narrative that would linger in the minds of many for years to come. Even though the FBI invaded the camera clubs and ordered the destruction of every one of Bettie Page's images in his collection, her photographer did not eliminate all of them. This is the reason the internet is still flooded with many of her pictures today. As a model, Page's image appeared in several films, with the first being the 1953 burlesque comedy, Strip-O-Rama. She quickly became a favorite model for photo clubs. Her agent and friend, Mark Russler, once stated that people appreciated how she created less inhibition among them. This was after Bettie Page joined camera clubs, where it was legal to make obscene images. These clubs could display nude and bondage images as art, and she was ready to showcase her work, which made her a popular model. Her unique style and confidence resonated with many, allowing her to leave a lasting impact on the world of modeling and photography. While living a quiet life in Florida after stepping away from the spotlight, Bettie Page made significant changes in her life. She quit modeling and embraced a devout Christian faith. During this period, she took theological lessons with the intention of becoming a missionary. However, her request to join a mission board was declined due to her past as a divorcee model. Despite this setback, she found fulfillment working as a secretary for Reverend Billy Graham. Bettie's personal life was marked by challenges, including 2 more failed marriages. After a brief marriage that ended quickly, she married for a 3rd time to Harry Lear in 1967. This union occurred before her mental health began to deteriorate, leading to intense bursts of rage. Bettie's journey reflects a complex interplay of faith, personal struggles, and the search for purpose in her later years. In January 1972, Page found herself in a troubling situation at a Boca Raton ministry retreat, where she was seen racing through the premises while clutching a .22 caliber pistol. This alarming incident marked the beginning of a series of events that would highlight her struggles with mental health. By April of the same year, her condition escalated dramatically when she forced her husband and children at knife point to pray to Jesus, threatening their lives if they did not comply. Following this traumatic episode, she was placed under close self-immolation watch for 4 months. Eventually, her husband decided to separate from her, leading Page to return to California to live with her brother. However, her challenges were far from over. A minor argument with her landlady resulted in Page assaulting the woman with a knife. This incident led to a diagnosis of schizophrenia, and she spent nearly 2 years in Patton State Hospital, where she received treatment for her mental health issues. Despite her glamorous image, Bettie Page's life included dark and violent incidents. One notable event involved her attacking another woman with a knife, resulting in severe injuries. The victim suffered a cut finger and significant facial damage, but fortunately survived the ordeal. Following this incident, Bettie was declared innocent by a judge, who cited her mental health as a factor in the decision. Ironically, this led to her spending 10 years in a California mental health facility. During her time there, she faced intense struggles with depression and unpredictable mood swings. This period was marked by a profound sense of turmoil as she grappled with her mental state. After a long and challenging journey, Bettie regained her freedom in 1992, emerging from the facility after years of confinement. Her experiences reflect a complex interplay of fame, mental health, and personal challenges that shaped her life in ways that were often hidden from the public eye. Suddenly, Bettie Page found herself back in the limelight, a surprising twist for the once revered pinup queen. For years she had lived in relative obscurity and financial hardship, grappling with the challenges that life had thrown her way. Little did she know that her legacy from the 1940s and 50s would soon experience a revival. As society began to embrace discussions around sexuality, the historic images of Bettie Page emerged as iconic representations of attraction. These images, once considered controversial, became celebrated pieces of art and were featured on various merchandise. This resurgence not only revitalized her finances, but also played a significant role in stimulating dissident art movements. Critics noted how her work influenced a new wave of artistic expression, blending nostalgia with modern sensibilities. Bettie Page's return was not just a personal comeback. It marked a cultural shift that recognized the power of her images in shaping contemporary views on beauty and sexuality. While Bettie Page was absent from the public eye, curiosity about her grew significantly. A popular magazine capitalized on this intrigue by offering a reward of $1,000 to anyone who could locate her, whether she was alive or deceased. This situation arose during a time when Bettie was grappling with mental health challenges, yet a new generation of fans began to emerge, fascinated by her iconic images. Not long after, her photographs inspired David Stevens, an illustrator, to create the now famous comic book character known as the Rocketeer. This connection not only brought Bettie Page back into the spotlight, but also allowed her to earn royalties from Stevens' work. The renewed fame that followed her legacy was further amplified when her story was featured on the popular show Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. As a result, her photographs became highly sought after, solidifying her status as a cultural icon and ensuring that her influence would endure for years to come. Critics suggest that Bettie Page's later refusal to be photographed was a prediction of her own. As she aged, she expressed strong feelings against being captured by a camera, reflecting on her past experiences. Betty often spoke of her disgust regarding the treatment she received, particularly in relation to Irving Klaw, who was known for his bondage photography. She felt that the industry had ruined his business and contributed to his poor health, ultimately leading to his death. Betty observed a troubling double standard during her heyday, noting that while those in positions of authority, such as judges and doctors, were expected to uphold ethical standards, they were often the same individuals requesting her images from Klaw's work. She articulated her belief that people should be free to do as they please, provided they do not harm others. Despite the controversies surrounding her modeling career, Betty maintained that she was never ashamed of her past. After leaving modeling, she embraced a religious life, which further shaped her views on her earlier experiences. "I'm not ashamed. Adam and Eve were naked in the Garden of Eden. When they sinned, they put on clothes." Bettie Page, known for her fearless image, was a remarkable figure in the world of modeling and entertainment. During her school days at Hume Fogg High School, she was voted Girl Most Likely to Succeed, a title that foreshadowed her future achievements. Bettie Page became a symbol of beauty and confidence, successfully carving out a niche for herself in the modeling industry. Her legacy is marked by her iconic pin-up photographs and her influence on fashion and pop culture. She enjoyed a long life, filled with fame and recognition, which many admired. However, her journey came to an end when she suffered a heart attack on December 11, 2008. Just days before, she had been hospitalized with pneumonia. Bettie Page passed away at the age of 85, leaving behind a lasting impact on the world of modeling and a legacy that continues to inspire